This video brought to you by my YouTube members and patrons. Thank you guys. How's it going everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. Today we're going to be taking a look at r/pettyrevenge, a subreddit I haven't looked at yet before, but it's pretty much as it sounds. It's people getting petty revenge for things, and some of them are kind of satisfying, I won't lie. Very quickly before we begin, I just wanted to mention that as always, I will be live today, Thursday that is, at 7 PM UK time, which is 2 hours after this video going live. So if you want to catch that, please do. And also, if you are a YouTube member or patron or are considering being one, you get one extra video every single week. That's 4 extra videos every month. That equates to about 25p per video if you choose the lowest subscription tier. So please do consider joining that if you would like that content. But without further ado, let's get into the subreddit, shall we? My neighbor's dog ruined my sleep, so I used it to ruin his. Every night from midnight to 3 AM, his dog would bark non-stop right outside my bedroom. Deep, loud, echoing barks, like he was announcing the end of the world. I asked my neighbor twice to bring the dog in. Both times he brushed it off with a smirk and said, "He's just doing his job. Cool, then I'll do mine." I started recording the barking on my phone. The next morning at 6 AM, right after my neighbor got home from his night shift, I played it back full volume through a speaker pointed at his wall. I repeated that for 2 mornings. No yelling, no threats, just his own dog giving him a taste of what I'd been dealing with. On day 3, the dog was inside before 10 PM. He hasn't barked at night since. Sometimes the best revenge is pressing play. This is a satisfying result, isn't it? The other thing is worth noting that your neighbor arguably could be called up on a noise report, at least in the UK. I don't know how it works in the US. In the UK, if your neighbor is making undue noise after a certain amount of time, then you can call them up on that. You could literally call the police for a noise complaint. I think it's after 10 PM. I'm gonna verify what time you can start making noise from again, but I think it is 6 AM. It's 7 AM. So technically, if you held off an hour, which would be worse because if he's getting in at 6 AM, he would have just started getting to sleep at 7 and then you start making the noise. It's 11 PM to 7 AM. But, you know, you could call him up on a noise complaint very easily for his dog barking really loud at night, in the UK at least. Don't know what it's like in the US, but still, some satisfying revenge is playing your neighbor's own noise back at him to keep him awake. She always called me just the boyfriend, so I helped her move. Quietly. My girlfriend's sister never liked me. Every time we were around family, she'd say stuff like, "You're just her boyfriend, not family," or "Don't get too comfortable." I let it slide for over a year because I didn't want to start drama. A few months ago, she needed help moving apartments. Nobody else was free and she asked me. I said sure, showed up early, loaded the truck, even brought her a coffee. She was kinda shocked. When we finished, she just looked at me and said, "I didn't think you'd actually show." I just smiled and said, "Yeah, I'm just the boyfriend of your sister, remember?" She stared at me for a second and acted like guilty. She's been way more respectful since. This is a great example of, you know, petty revenge doesn't have to be an action against a person, you know? Making them feel guilty by being nice after they've been mean to you is a pretty legitimate strategy, and it works. You can tell by this that it works, right? My boss kept scheduling meetings during my lunch, so I started eating lunch in every meeting. I used to take my lunch break at the same time every day, 12 to 1. I don't eat breakfast, just coffee and lots of water. So my lunch is essential and I can't just skip it. My calendar was blocked by my boss, newly promoted power tripping. Started scheduling meetings right in the middle of it. The first couple times I let it slide, figured maybe it was urgent, but then it became a pattern. I pushed back and reminded him that it was during my break, and he said, "Well, we all have to make sacrifices sometimes." Cool, got it. Next morning I showed up with a full plate of spaghetti and meatballs, had my camera on and mic unmuted, slurping and chewing. Occasionally gave thumbs up while mid-bite. Few days later it repeated, so I brought sticky wings. Last week on Thursday it happened again. Glad I still had my pizza. He finally asked, "Do you have to eat during the meeting?" I smiled and said, "We all have to make sacrifices sometimes." It's Friday today. We didn't have any meetings during my lunch hours this week. It's just a little thing. Like, you're gonna have to eat. You gotta. You can't just not have lunch. I'm assuming this is in America, because if this was in the UK, this would actually be illegal. In the UK, you are legally entitled to at least half an hour undisturbed lunch, right? So I'm assuming this is the US where such labor laws don't really exist. But, you know, the satisfying response is, "Oh, you're gonna remove my lunch breaks? Okay, I'll just just disturb your meetings by eating in them. Perfect. Genuinely perfect. She erased us from her wedding, so I'm erasing her from mine. When my brother got married, his bride, now my sister-in-law, had very specific expectations. She wanted everyone in the family to wear their wedding colours, and we all did. People flew in from out of state, everyone made an effort to make her feel celebrated. The day before the wedding, she made some offhanded but clearly pointed remarks about how our side of the family never takes anything seriously, and she wasn't expecting us to take this seriously either. The comments made their rounds and feelings were hurt before the wedding even began, but we still showed up, looked great, and participated. Fast forward to getting the wedding photos and video. Not a single photo of our side of the family was posted. Not one. In the entire 3-minute highlight reel, no faces from our family except a 3-second clip of my parents with the bride and groom. The rest of us, it's like we never existed. I texted her cordially and asked if she could send me the pictures with just our siblings, since none had been posted. She responded that we never took those pictures. That's wild because I remember helping people adjust corsages for them. She doubled down on the gaslighting. I gave it 6 months and asked again. She suddenly had no idea what I was talking about. Fine. Here's where the petty revenge comes in. I'm getting married in 8 days. I've been engaged for 6 months and planning this moment since she tried to erase us. I hired a great photographer and videographer. What she doesn't know is that the videographer has a secret mission. Make it look like she's getting all the attention, track her, hover near her like she's the star of the show. She will feel so seen. And then, the final cut, she won't appear for even a second. Just like she made sure we didn't. I didn't even invite her originally. Word must have gotten out because she cornered me at a family dinner and said, "Unfortunately, I have to work the day before and after your wedding, but I should still be able to make it." I was so stunned I just said, "That's fine. The Airbnb is booked whether you're there or not." So now she's coming. Ugh. To cope, I spelled her name wrong on the wedding invite on purpose. That was my first move. The video blackout will be my last. Not asking for advice, not asking if it's too mean. It's not. It's exactly fair. Happy to finally talk about it freely. Edit. Update 5/12. The wedding was absolutely beautiful and I didn't have to think about this all day. We've been living on the love high that comes with the wedding and forgot about anything until YouTube remakes reminded me. Our videographer was given verbal instructions beforehand and made sure to know who the sister-in-law was. As our sneak peek clips have been given back to us, I have yet to see her in any of the footage. Our videographer told us they have over 200 gigabytes of raw footage, so sister-in-law will definitely be in some footage on the hard drive somewhere, but she will definitely not end up in any of our Instagram highlights. We'll see about the final video. This is pettiness to the next level. This is so good, but I'm all here for it because, yeah, it's unbelievably petty, but so deserved. So deserved. Like, it's such an asshole move to remove the family of your husband from all of the photos of your wedding. Like, you're having a wedding and the only family you care to include is your own, not the family that you're marrying into, is such a pathetic little move. So it's fully deserved that the OP would do this because just what an asshole move to begin with. Boss chiseled me out of $100 and paid the price. I'm a contractor. While working on a project in a very remote location, I arranged to buy and bring 2 rounds of breakfast tacos for the staff of the county facility where I would be working for the next week in exchange for free copy privileges. The boss gave me approval on the phone, and the total for the tacos that week came out to just over $100. A great exchange as the copy budget was upwards of $1,000. My receipts along with a supporting CC statement I submitted at the end of the billing cycle, between a week and 2 weeks after he'd verbally approved the expense, was declined. I wasn't too angry, but a deal's a deal, and I called the boss to remind him he'd approved the expense. His response, "You should have gotten it in writing." Pissed me off royally, but I finished the project as promised and was working on another project for another client, less than a week later. A couple of months go by and the boss who chiseled me out of dollars called to see if I was available to work on another project. Beginning on the 1st of the next month, and after some haggling, I agreed. The work schedule would be tight, and in his words, this was an all-hands-on-deck project with nights and weekends expected. I was also told this was a new client and they wanted to impress. A couple of days before the project was set to begin, the chiseler called to tell me the engagement paperwork was on the way and check my email. I told him I had decided not to work the project after all, and he was furious. He screamed. I mean screamed. "You agreed to work on this project weeks ago." I repeated his words verbatim. "You should have got it in writing." This is a good one. Any of the ones involving work are always the most satisfying thing. But also, I hope you now remember, OP, that if you're ever doing a phone call like this with someone like this, make sure to record the phone call. Always record phone calls where you think you might be agreeing to some money. Always. I have a story a little bit similar to this that's ongoing right now, in fact, actually, which is I did a month's work at a place nearby as a videographer and digital marketer. I'm not going to name the place, obviously, but did a month's work. The hours I put in equate to somewhere around £1,200. After I leave, the employer lets me go because they can't afford to keep me on. They email me saying that they've reviewed the security footage and decided that the quality of my work is only worth £450. Yeah, a third of what I'm entitled to for the hours that I put in. Now, bear in mind, I wasn't just doing video work and marketing work. They had me cleaning the shop, prepping equipment, doing all kinds of stuff that wasn't just marketing work. So there, "You didn't do as much marketing work as we'd like" excuse came down to every time I tried to sit down to marketing work, they would tell me to get up and clean the shop. So, you know, whose fault's that? Additionally, the videos that I made for their social media, every single one of those videos performed better than any other post they've ever put out on their social media. But that's not good enough, apparently. No, I am only entitled to 1/3 of minimum wage. So I've reported this to HMRC. I expect to be getting my money back because HMRC is really good and the employer has no defense. I also use Life 360 because Leo likes to track my drives and have crash tracking on to make sure I'm not dead. So we can get the data back of every single drive I made to that store. So, you know, we have evidence of exactly where I was at exactly what times. And also the fine for withholding wages, I believe, is up to, I think it was 20,000. It's 2,000 or 20,000. Ooh, I was wrong. There is actually no financial cap on bringing an unlawful deductions of wages claim into the employment tribunal. It's a breach of contract claim where the cap is £25,000. No cap. Now, I'm sure, you know, obviously it's not going to be that high for 1 month's worth of wages. However, I'm sure that they will probably have a fine equating much more than they would have had to have paid me to actually equate to minimum wage. So, you know, if that's how they want to play it, unfortunately, I will be actually taking legal action. That's how it's gonna be. Should have just paid me. The wild thing is, if they had paid me like a little under, you know, by my own workings out, by the hours I put in, I'm owed around £1,200. I think had they, you know, just taken 100, 200 off that and gone, actually, we're only gonna pay you 1,000, I would have sucked it up and dealt with it. But because they've tried to pay me £450, you know, nearly £800 less than what I'm owed, yeah, I'm gonna be taking that up with the law. And the final post. They suspended me for a misunderstanding, so I took the best, much needed vacation at their expense. On a Monday night, I asked my manager if I could have my morning shift covered. He said no worries, the new girl is coming in to train, and there'll be plenty of servers for the slow lunch rush. Sounded good to me. The next day, the owner, who has the patience of a caffeinated squirrel, messages me asking why I did not show up. I told him exactly what my manager said. He said she is not a real server yet, and the way he saw it missed my shift because I did not have another waiter to cover me. So he suspended me for a week. I am the best waiter, never late, always on time, and pulling in the best reviews. Some reviews on Google even have my name in them. But I just said, alright boss, see you in a week. So I did what any overworked employee would do. I slept in, watched movies, played disc golf, and hung out with my friends and girlfriend. It was the most relaxing week I have ever had. On Friday night, the owner calls me begging for help. They were so short-handed, they were practically using the dishwashers as waiters. He wanted me to come in for Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday morning, all while I was still on suspension. I told him I had not learned my lesson yet and could not possibly come in. When I came back the next week, everyone was very nice to me. They still are. Ah, what a satisfying result. Oh, you're gonna suspend me when you really need my work? Okay, that's fine. What a good response. You just did what you were told, OP. You just did what you were told. That's it. But that is where I'm going to end the video, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching. As always, if you would like to support me, then I have a Patreon in the description down below, or equally you can click on that join button on the channel to support me. It helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. I'm going to keep making content regardless. A huge, massive special thank you to all of the wonderful YouTube members and patrons that do support me though. All of your names are up on screen, and it genuinely helps so much, and it genuinely means so much. So thank you to everybody that does. If you do support me, punch my microphone. If you do support me, you get one extra video every single week. So please do consider the lower subscription tier of £1 on either YouTube members or patrons will get you one extra video every single week. That's 25p per video. So if you think that's worth it, please do consider that. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.